Yes, hello. More fun with rainbow wax today. This week. It's Sunday, 2:51. I'm going to try to do it all in one take, but one take after this funny waffly bit. Let's get on with it, shall we? So here we go. All of this, one take, although I will probably change the cameras. As you can see, I've been having a bit of a play on an old blank. Hot melt glue over a centrifuge pattern that's been done under there, and playing around with the rainbow waxes. I'm not so sure about the hot melt glue, but I do like the little lines you can see down here where I have got some centrifuge colour going on underneath the ebonising lacquer. So I'm going to skim this off and bring it back to bare wood, which I'm not going to sand. I want some rough texture for this, so I'll try and cut it really badly. As if I need to try. Pull cut, bowl gouge, let's go. Well, that was fun, all those bits of hot melt glue flying off. And would you believe it, an absolutely perfect surface. Spraying. Get my mask. On it comes. Here we go. Glasses off. Mask on, and a nice muffly voice. Right, just a little bit of spray, turn it down. Going to give that a moment to dry and speed it up with a hairdryer. Don't normally do this. Hope you appreciate me changing angle to make this look more interesting. Dry enough for now. Next coat. Now the colour I'm using isn't really important because it's going to be sprayed black again. But I'll do white so it shows up nicely. Although I might just put the colours over it. We'll have to see. Well, that's just about dry enough. So let's get the centrifuge going. So a bit of white, metallic, doesn't really matter which colour it is. Put a lot, blob it on. Whack up the speed and get it flying out. And I just want to get some texture on the surface of the wood. So while that's spinning, so I'm going to get some texture on the surface just from those lines. And I hope that's going to be enough to make it interesting. We'll see. Right, let's see if that hasn't just come off in one great big sheet. Right, so we've got little lines running along. Bit of texture. Let's give it a bit of heat. You're probably wishing I did do some editing. Nah, it's fun watching this, isn't it? Must be. It shouldn't take long to dry because it is very, very thin, that paint. And it's gone out in very thin lines rather than a great big wash. Yeah, in places it's got more texture than others. I think I want to put a bit more texture on though. So I will move to plan B. Take another white paint. Jo Sonja Pearl White, this one. There you are, Jo Sonja Pearl White. And because it's a bit thicker, I'm going to just thin it down a little. Ordinarily I wouldn't use water for this because it takes away some of the pigment. But I actually just want thicker coverage in some places. And hopefully this will do it for me. Right, whack it on, speed it up. And we'll let that spin itself out for a moment. Might get one more dollop. Dollop being the technical term. Now let's see. I think that's giving me a bit more texture. Lovely. Hairdryer time. Right, that'll do. Take the box off. Now I want to start defining where different bits are going to go. I'm going to get my parting tool and just put a little step down where I want the rim to end. That's nice, warm shavings on the hand. Okay, now my decision is whether to spray over that with a bit more black just to thicken that up. See, I want channels for the paint to run in. I've got that round this side, I've got that round here, but not quite so much here. And then I can get some black ebonising lacquer on there as well. Assuming I have ebonising lacquer left. Phew. Right, fresh can, give it a good shake. Find where I put the old one, which is just about run out. Oh, pull off the handle. Actually, I think there's a bit left in there. Let's give this a go. Put the handle back on. Get my mask back on. Glasses back on. Slow speed. And the hairdryer. Next stage is to take it off the, take the chuck off so I can paint it flat. Right, let's have it there. I'm going to give it a moment or two to dry and get this camera in better focus. Okay. Very blurry. Bring it back in, sharp on my hand. Sharp, sharper. That looks like about it to me. Still a little bit damp. Maybe you can pick up, there's a bit of dust on it. That actually doesn't really matter. It's going to give us a bit more texture. And I guess the extra texture, the heat actually from the heat gun, what am I talking about, extra texture? The heat from the hairdryer going to make the paint dry a bit quicker perhaps. Just going to protect the bed of the lathe a bit more. Right, first colour. We're going to start off with the blue Buffet Aqua, blue rainbow wax. Get a dollop on the end of my brush. Put it on the side, a few drops of water. And then mix that in. This is going to be really very runny, but that's what I want. Let's get on with it, shall we? Just a splodgy, wishy-washy, spread it around, very wet kind of effect. Now on the shot that you saw at the very beginning where I'd got hot melt glue on, it did a nice effect of puddling and pooling into the hot melt glue. This hasn't got quite as much texture as I was hoping for. But I'm going to go ahead and see what kind of effect we get. I was trying to keep that inside nice and neat and black, but there we go. That didn't happen. I suspect I probably will have a go with the glue as well. But for today, just the brush over the radial lines. Okay. Little bit of heat to dry that off a bit without moving it around too much. some thicker bits at the edge here. Quite like the colour there. Interesting how not much colour's taken there. Although it does depend where you stand in relation to it. Now the surface is a bit drier, I've gone to a bit more speed. Right, next colour, going with lovely lavender kind of colour. Again, a few drops of water are needed. Here's the water. Actually, I might be able to just scoop some off with the brush rather than get the end of it all grubby. Nice little dollop. Let's just work that in. Now I think this is where these rainbow waxes have an advantage over other waxes, because they're being acrylic based. You can water them down like this. Just going to blob this around over the blue and then start moving it around a bit with the air. See how it combines with that other colour. Right, so a bit more force this time from the start. I don't like it. And if you don't like it, you start again. Great fun. Bit of cloth. Come on the overhead so you can see me putting this right. I just don't think it gives nearly as good an effect as when there was glue on there. But it doesn't matter that I've got this texture on it, because that will be interesting as well. Just got to wait for the glue gun to warm up, that's all. So while it's warming up, I will pause the recording. I'll take pity on you. Back soon. Right, so glue gun is just about hot enough. Let's get spreading glue, and I want to take it right to the edges. Otherwise it's going to look a little odd. And it'll take a few goes round. just to put a crisscross look on. Oh, going to be a bit thicker in some places, don't really mind that, as long as I've got a bit of structure to work in with the paints or the very liquidy waxes. Starting now to cut across. Different angles. Now it's going a bit slower now, letting it go down into the gaps between different lines of glue. Now I have to say I'm indebted to Ed Oliver.
How you doing, mate?
For a demo he did on a hollow form. I'm sure some of you will have seen it, where he sprayed it black, put hot melt glue on, and then covered the hot melt glue with wax, or it may have been gilt cream. I ought to have been paying more attention. Sorry, Ed. Can't quite remember. And this is inspired by that demo, I guess. And if it comes up looking half as decent as Ed's one, I'll be pleased. So thank you very much for that inspiration, Ed. Right, nearly enough, I think. Trying to hope that I've got it fairly even around there. I think I'm going to stop there. Now I've got bits at the edge which I will tidy up later on. Just pull some of them off. Dries very quickly. So we're ready for spraying. Get my mask on. Fresh can. Drying time. Right, back with the aquamarine. Nice dollop of it. Bit of water in there. Let's get another dollop. Right, mix that in. So it's almost like a watercolour now, I guess. Now, just going to put this in random areas. I don't want solid blocks of colour, which is what I had kind of ended up with. In the first go without doing the hot melt glue. And I want this to pool and puddle. A little bit lumpy. Mix it down a bit more. Make sure I get it all the way around, some blue in every part of the rim, and when it pulls around the glue lines it's darker there, which I think is quite interesting. Quite interesting. Looking a bit lacking in blue over here. That looks much more interesting than the first go without the glue. Now back to the sort of lavendery violet colour. Again, get a blob on the brush. Mix it in with the water. It takes a little bit of mixing to get that lump broken down. Put that to one side. Now bits next to the blue, but not always over it, and leave some room for some gold. It's got a sort of beading action which you might be able to pick up. I think so. In the shots from the camera. I quite like that this way there's some black still showing, whereas what I'd done with the first go, there wasn't really. It was all a bit obliterated. So it was just drop it inside a sort of area, and it's being pulled to the edges. Lots of lovely blue over there, but let's mix it up a little. Oh, massive lump of it just came out. Never mind. Can work that out. Come out. There we go. Yeah, do you see that one? It just pulled it all the way to the sides. In there as well, I'm pushing it to the edges, pulling it closer into the glue. Good fun. Let's fill a few of those. Try and fill that one. So a mixture of solid colour and then some going at the edges. Oh, fun, fun, fun. And the final colour, a bit of gold, little bit of water in there, a little bit more. And here's the gold. This is a little bit harder. There we go. Comes off the brush quite easily once it's in the water. Stir it up. You can see very, very runny. Don't get that big flake off. Now, could wait for each colour to dry, and I may come back with some gold just to highlight bits of it later on, but I like this mixing of the colours together actually. The gold probably is a bit thinner I've made it than the other colours. There's a big lump. Let's get that smoothed into the water, break it up. Very relaxing. Got a little fly come to have a look at it. Don't land in it, you might get stuck in it. Become part of it. Right, how's that looking? I think probably nearly done. little bit of purple left. Let's put that in a few places. Use it up a bit. See, blob it and it pulls away. I think the blue is just about used up. Don't want to waste any. Right. Drying time. You don't have to watch all of this. Right, turning time. Got to try and get that edge cut a bit crisp and in there as well. So back with the parting tool. Right, probably got to let that glue go a bit harder or come in with a different tool. Nice gummed up edge now. Right, where? I'm going to try my point tool and see if that does a better cut. Not really. I was going to say almost, but not really. So lesson number 3 on this one is get the glue very hard and get your ends. Although I'm tempted, in the spirit of play, to pull the glue off completely. That's interesting. This really is a good old-fashioned Stuart playtime. Loving it. Bits of glue. Probably should wait for it to be dry, but you know me. This will be a proof of principle. There'll probably be a bit where I won't be able to get it off, won't there? Let's come at it from this side. There we go. Good stuff. Got myself another little template. Not. So a few little pieces still left to pick off. Fun, fun, fun. Now, where it's a bit wet and I've just been brushing it with my hand carelessly, I have caused quite a lot of smudging, which I'm not that impressed with. But you know me, patience is not really my thing. One or two places, little bit of the glue left. Yes, around here I smudged it quite badly. There, it's still a bit wet. I think I'd like a bit more blue on it. Maybe the gold a little bit more as well, but I'm going to leave it at that. Going to try and get it dry. Just a little clean up on the inside, not to make a finished bowl, but to just show the effect against some wood, because it always looks nicer against a wooden edge. So I've picked most of the glue off. Oh, sorry about that. And it's given a very interesting effect. A few places I was saying, like here, where I've sort of smudged it a bit, which is a bit irritating. But maybe a sort of batik kind of effect. It's a bit splodgy there. These bits are nice though. So I've had fun playing around with this. Let's get it off and hold it up in front of the camera like I'm proud of it. Where are we? Face camera. Like I'm proud of it. Oh, I'm so pleased with myself. I'm not pleased with myself. I'm pleased with the fun that I've had today. And I think there's definite potential with this technique. I did really like it when it was with the glue, but I'm perhaps a little bit impatient. Maybe if I'd waited and let it get really cold, it would have cut with a crisper edge. But the thing to do is to put the glue on, cut it back, then do the colour, so that you know you haven't got to cut the glue later on. But that said, if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have been pulling the glue off and finding what it looked like if I did that. So all in all, I would say today has been a successful play. And really, that's what I mostly do this for. Really what I mostly do this for. I should be sacked from my day job. On that bombshell, thanks for watching. Ponytail time?